Hey everyone, and welcome back. Are you ready to continue our adventure with Geronimo Stilton? Now, when we left off, things were looking pretty bad for our friends. Remember that huge storm? Well, it sank their ship. They were lost, all alone, in the middle of the big, wide ocean. So let's find out what happens next, shall we?
So, yeah, their amazing ship, the Lucky Lady, is completely gone. It was just swallowed up by this terrible hurricane. Can you imagine? There's Geronimo, his sister Thea, their cousin Trap, and little Benjamin. And they're just floating out there all by themselves in this huge, dark ocean. The big question is, how are they possibly going to survive this?
Just think about that for a second. 1 minute, you're on this big, cozy ship, feeling totally safe. And then, bam! The next thing you know, there's nothing but cold, dark water everywhere you look. It's got to be so scary, right? But believe it or not, for these four, this is where the real adventure is just getting started. Okay, so first things first. They've got to survive, right? But seriously, how do you do that? How do you even find your family when you're just a little tiny mouse in an ocean that seems to go on forever and ever? So just when it seems like all hope is lost, Geronimo spots something floating in the water. And guess what? It's his giant trunk. You know, the one with all his clothes. He climbs right on top, and for now, he's safe. Then he finds his nephew, Benjamin, nearby. A little while later, he sees these two tiny little dots way out in the distance. Could it be? Yes, it's Thea and Trap. They're all back together again. What a relief. But oh, poor Trap. He's so sad. He's convinced that the treasure map, the whole reason for their trip, is gone forever, sunk to the bottom of the sea. And just as everyone is starting to feel really hopeless, clever Thea pulls out a surprise. She saved the map. The adventure is officially back on.
All right, so they've got the map, which is great, but how do you sail a giant floating trunk? Well, Trap, of course, has a wild idea. He wants to use Geronimo's super fancy silk pajamas as a sail. Geronimo is like, wait a minute, those are expensive. They've got my initials sewn in gold. But to Trap, they're just, an old rag. It's such a funny moment, and it really shows you just how different these two cousins are. Okay, get this. For 8 whole days and 8 long nights, they float on the ocean, using nothing but Geronimo's pajamas as a sail. Can you believe it? And finally, right when they're about to give up all hope, they see something on the horizon. It's land. They've actually made it. Welcome to Treasure Island.
And wow, what an incredible island. It's like something out of a dream. There are these beautiful white sandy beaches, a huge sparkling waterfall, and trees just full of yummy fruit like bananas and mangoes. I mean, after being lost at sea for so long, this place must have looked like an absolute paradise to our very, very hungry friends. So, to survive on this island, they realize they're gonna need a leader, and everyone agrees on who it should be. Thea, of course. She's just so brave and smart, and she gets right to it, giving everyone a job to do. Geronimo's in charge of finding food, Trap is gonna cook, and little Benjamin is gonna help Thea build a shelter. It's awesome. They're finally working together like a real team. Okay, so they've got food, they've got a shelter, so what's next? It's time to find that treasure. But here's the thing. This isn't just a simple X marks the spot kind of map. Oh no, it's full of tricky and dangerous riddles that they have to solve first.
So, here we go, riddle number 1. If you find a big rock the color of cheese, don't run around, don't even sneeze. So it leads them to this giant yellow rock, just like a big block of cheese. But why does the riddle say not to even sneeze? Why do they have to be so quiet and so still? What kind of danger could be hiding there?
Well, Geronimo gets a little closer to the rock to check it out, and suddenly his feet start sinking. It's quicksand. He's totally stuck. But Trap thinks super fast. He grabs a long vine from a tree, throws it to Geronimo, and pulls with all his strength. He saves his cousin just in the nick of time. Phew, that was way too close. All right, one danger down, on to the next riddle. It says, beware the honey tree, its fruits are known to sing. Listen, but do not touch, or you will feel the sting. So they find this tall tree with these big yellow things hanging down that kind of look like pineapples. The riddle gives a really clear warning, do not touch. But we all know Trap, right? He's not exactly the best at following the rules.
And yup, just as you'd expect, Trap thinks it's a brilliant idea to throw a stone and knock one of the fruits down. Oh, this was a huge mistake. It's not a fruit at all. It's a giant beehive. All of a sudden, thousands and thousands of angry bees are chasing them. They have to run as fast as they can and dive into a river just to get away.
Okay, time for the last riddle. This one is a word puzzle. To get across this dangerous path, they have to step on these special stones with letters on them, spelling out the right word. Here's the riddle. For lunch or a snack, it is delicious. With lots of holes, it's quite nutritious. So what do you think? What delicious food has lots of holes? Of course, Geronimo, who has read a million books, knows the answer right away. Cheese. It's always cheese with him. But before he can even explain the plan, you guessed it, impatient Trap just starts jumping. He hops on C, H, E, S, and then, he completely forgets the second E and jumps on the wrong stone. A trapdoor opens up and he falls right into a deep, dark pit. Oh, Trap, not again. So once again, the team has to stop everything and work together to rescue him.
So after all that craziness, they've finally done it. They've solved every single riddle and survived all the traps. Now, they follow the map to that big red X that marks the spot. This has to be it, right? This is the moment they've been waiting for the entire time. But when they get there, there's no treasure chest. No gold coins, no sparkling jewels, nothing. All they see is a big, beautiful, deep green lake. They're just so confused and really disappointed. Did they do this whole entire trip for nothing? And just as they're about to totally give up, they hear a strange noise coming from the bushes. And what they're about to see is probably the biggest surprise of the entire adventure. You're not going to believe this. It's not some wild animal. It's not a scary monster. It's a huge group of tourist mice. I'm talking sunglasses, bathing suits, cameras, the whole deal. So much for their deserted island, huh? It's not deserted at all. So, the tourists explain what's going on. This place isn't some lost, forgotten treasure island. It's actually a super famous vacation spot called Ratlin's Tropical Resort and Health Spa. Geronimo and his family just can't believe their ears. They've been stuck on a busy tourist island this whole entire time.
Well, since there's no actual treasure chest to find, there's really only one thing left to do. Go home. The manager of the resort feels so sorry for them after hearing their story that he gives them all first-class airplane tickets to get back to Mouse Island. So they get on the plane to fly home, and Geronimo is feeling pretty down, you know? He's thinking about this long, crazy journey and how it was all for nothing. He looks out the window one last time, watching the island get smaller and smaller as they fly away. But then, as he's looking down from way up high in the sky, he sees it. That big green lake in the middle of the island, it isn't just a lake. From up here, it looks exactly like a giant, sparkling green eye. He's so excited he shouts, "Holy cheese! It's the Emerald Eye!" Now, Trap might complain that you can't buy anything with a lake, but Geronimo, he finally gets it. The treasure map was never leading them to gold or jewels. The real treasure was the amazing adventure they all had together. And of course, the incredible story he could write about it all, which, as you might know, became a huge best-selling book. And that leaves us with one final thought. For Geronimo, the real treasure wasn't something he could hold. It was the memories and the story of their adventure. So what about you? What makes an adventure feel like a real treasure? It's something to think about, isn't it? Thanks so much for joining me on this incredible journey.